Hey guys, look who decided to finally show up.
Hey everyone!
Jesus. Anyway, this video will not be as flashy as last time because we're not doing it over Skype. And we're only going to do one question per video. Today's question, Emily is going to read off.
The statement for today is, once one reaches the end of his usefulness, it is okay to discard him.
Alright, so now we're going to start the discussion point, and I believe that you wanted to go first.
Well, first I would like to reiterate the word usefulness. What do you mean by someone's usefulness? Somebody can have a specific skill that they do every single day, for example, an accountant or a doctor or a surgeon. But nailing a nail into a wall is also useful, as in cutting wood, etc. So, with that statement, I think what it's elaborating on is the usefulness of someone's actual skill and ability. The second word that I would like to reiterate on is discard. You can discard someone by firing them, by throwing them out on the street, but you can also discard someone by killing them or erasing them off the face of the earth. And I think in this case we're speaking more of firing, but as we go on I think that we would continue on to killing and or discarding completely.
Well, I somewhat disagree with the statement for the reason that I believe that the statement is flawed in what it says, because usefulness is an absolute term and I don't believe in absolutes. I really think that it matters more what your usefulness is and if you can continue that. And I think she is right when she says that your usefulness could mean a lot of different things. Discarding also means a lot of different things. It could mean firing. Yeah, if I can't do my job, I expect to be fired. But as far as, oh, I can't do my job, great, now they're going to kill me, that's a little bit of an extreme of it. I really don't think someone should be killed if they are proven not to be useful, because I don't think anybody really can be unuseful. But then again, there are people who are not able to do anything, and in this country, you can't do anything about it, and it's kind of a sad thing to do.
Well, I personally agree with that statement, even though I agree with you that it is slightly flawed. I do believe that somebody can be not useful anymore, and in the country that we live in now and the way society perceives that we live, it is not okay to kill people or to discard them. Yet I think personally how we would work a lot better is if, for example, somebody has a job. Somebody is a surgeon and they are incapable of doing their job. I think they not only should be taken down from that job, but they should be forced to do a different job. A job that they are more suitable for. For example, picking up garbage on the streets. That way we could do all the social cleanups and social fixes of society in general. The economy would be a lot more fueled because everybody would be gaining, but everybody would also be receiving at the same time. In a way, it is like communism, but I think that somebody that is a surgeon should receive a way higher paycheck than somebody who cleans garbage off the streets.
Well, I think we both agree on one point, but let's, I think the deeper meaning of this would be like human euthanization. I kind of want to see what your feel of that is, especially since it's kind of a hot topic in this country. There's doctors that get pissed who are going, like Kevorkian went to jail for many years, and many doctors have, for human euthanization. I remember back in 05 and 06 when Hurricane Katrina hit, doctors were put in jail because the hospital would be completely flooded, no power and electricity, and there'd be people there who they cannot save. And instead of having them sit there in their own feces and let them die like that, they just decide to end their life because there was no humane option. There was no treatment, there was nothing. It was just straight, either you're going to die suffering or I end your life now. And they wanted to die. But doctors went to jail for years and are still in jail now for the rest of their lives just because of that.
Well, on the topic of human euthanization, I think that the biggest issue that is typically brought up by those opposing is, what if the person doesn't want to die and they can't tell you that they want to? And the choice will be up to the family of the person who is in question of euthanization. Well, I personally think the best solution to that would be is, for example, when you reach a specific age, 18, which is the adult age in America, you sign a very long contract. For example, for every possibility of what could happen to you, paralyzation, full body burns, etc., to the point where you are paralyzed and you are blind laying in bed, and you have a contract that says, yes, I want to die in this case. Yes, I want to spend 2 more weeks for my family to come here and there. Every single person from, I would say, the age that they start school should themselves construct this contract, and they should be able to continue with this contract after it's already been signed. I think up until the age of 40 or such, you should be able to put additions to that contract and be able to take things out as well. For example, if you are 25 years old and you think, well, if I'm paralyzed, I want to die. But then you are 35 and you think, oh, I'm paralyzed, but I have a family and I have kids, and I think that I want to see them and I want them to come visit me in the hospital, or, you know, see me at home until I leave by my own body leave.
So what do you think about human euthanization? Like, back in World War II in Nazi Germany, Hitler kind of took it to an extreme where he found a completely entire ethnic group that he considered completely unuseful and a blight on humanity. And what he did was he just tried to obliterate that entire race, that entire ethnicity. Do you think that isn't acceptable at any means?
I personally don't think that that itself is acceptable, but I think that, I don't mean this in any sort of offense, but if somebody is born with a mental and physical disability to the point where they have to be watched their entire life, they will never be able to live on their own, and in a way they will never reach true adulthood. They will always be a child, or they will always be impaired. I personally think that people who are born that way, up until the age of 3, their medical history should be discussed. It should be looked upon. All possible views should be seen. For example, is there a cure? Is there a way to change that? Is there a way to adapt them? But if in 3 years there's no way to find a cure or an ability to fix that, why would you make somebody suffer and have the inability to learn and become an adult and a human being that is responsible for himself, and have them being nannied until the day that they die, probably a painful death?
You see, I kind of agree with that, but here's the thing. I mean, you have people who are born with problems, and then years upon years later, there is a cure. Like, now we have not a cure, but we have treatments for cancer, whereas back about 20 years ago, if you were a baby or you were even our age and you were get cancer, your odds of living are slim to none compared to a good 30, 40, 50%.
Well, I agree, but if you think about it, if a person is going to live 10 years and then there's some kind of treatment that's going to make it better, I think that it doesn't fix the problem. And plus, out of millions of people that could help, there might be a slim chance of 5 or 6 people being that they were euthanized for their disability, and then a year later a treatment comes along that would help them but wouldn't completely cure them, but that would only be numbers that I can count on my fingers out of 1 million or 2 or more.
Okay, on to the next question I actually want to ask you, and I actually really want to have your personal opinion on. What do you think about doctors being able to euthanize patients? I know in a couple countries in Europe it is completely allowed to do that, but here in America it is 100% unfortunately against the law.
I am all for it. I think that doctors, being a doctor, you are given many privileges. You are given many responsibilities, and the ability to euthanize a patient that euthanization would really help should be given too. It's not only a privilege, but it's a responsibility itself. I think that it's very equaled out between responsibility and privilege, and I think that no, it shouldn't be given to any doctor that passes through medical school, but I think that it should be given to doctors that have been in their field for years, that have studied these patients and patients like that for however many decades that they have been working. And I think that in that case, you should be able to euthanize somebody that personally it would really, really help. In return, I have a question for you. Why do you think so many people, hundreds of people, frown upon human euthanization?
Well, I think people are really against it because they really don't know what will happen when you give this power to somebody. Like, honestly, as Americans, we are just afraid of change. It's kind of how we are. We support a person who always says change is good, change is... When in reality, we're too damn afraid to do it ourselves. We're too afraid to make change, so we think that, well, it could be really bad. Like, all we do is we focus on the negatives of what could happen. Like, yeah, there's a bunch of negatives if you allow doctors to have human euthanization. Bad things could happen. Someone who doesn't want to die could be put to death. But then again, we have complete prison executions every day. Granted, they're a little bit sparse now, but we still have them. Even in the state of Ohio where we are, we allow people to die because of a crime they committed. Well, if we kill people because they killed somebody, why don't we allow somebody to die if it's what they want? You know, I know bad things might happen, and I'm not saying they won't. I'm saying they probably will. Honestly, I'm sure that there's going to be an accident or something, but the pros versus cons, when you look at it, it has so many more pros because then if someone is not mentally able to even breathe on their own, and they will not, or their chance of coming out of that is such a minuscule amount that all you're doing is making them sit there and just have a machine breathe for you. Who would want that in their right mind? Like, I would not. If I were to die, or if I were to get into an accident and be brain dead, where yes, my heart is still pumping, yes, they're pushing oxygen into my lungs and my body's still viable, but my brain is completely shut down where there is no chance of me ever living again. Why would I want to just sit there in a bed and be not able to do anything for the rest of my life, especially like that? Or even if you're mentally disabled, and let's say beforehand, I'm not saying to someone who is mentally disabled from their beginning, from the start of their life, because we really can't ask them, because they really can't comprehend the question. They can't take into all effects. Maybe they can, maybe they can't, we don't know. But let's say I have a car accident and I am now not a vegetable, but I have very limited brain function. I can barely walk, barely speak, barely talk. I should be able to, before that, say, when I'm a kid, I agree with you completely when you said, I could be able to say, well, if that happens to me, I want to die.
And to add to that, for the viewers, we are not speaking about mental disabilities like autism or schizophrenia or multi-personality disorder. We are speaking about actual mental disabilities that actually physically and mentally disable you from being able to comprehend the world around you.
Yes, like I myself have a mental disability. It's just not very present. I have ADHD, which I don't consider myself to have a mental disability, but also my eyesight is because of that. And
as do I. I have mild schizophrenia, and I have insomnia, and I also have a lot of problems with visualizing things. But actually, it's not that bad because my creativity levels and my ability to comprehend numbers and structures is a lot higher than a lot of people that I have met.
Yeah, exactly. Yours is much higher than mine, and I have an IQ of a very high number, but I'm dumb as a box of rocks sometimes. Anyway, yeah, so like we're not saying it against anybody who has a mental disease like autism, or, I mean, you and me both have friends that are autistic.
Oh, yes, yes. I actually have a very good personal friend named Aries who has autism, and he is absolutely amazing. And also, your ex-girlfriend, Taylor Priori, was one of the nicest girls I've ever met.
Yeah, she was. She was a really nice girl. And it just goes to show that, you know, we're not saying things against that. I mean, especially not schizophrenia. Like, you have a mild form of schizophrenia. Does it stop you?
No. I mean, well, there were times, and there still are times, that I break down or have problems. It has happened in school. Simply, it has happened once or twice, but it has never limited me from becoming the person that I want to be.
Yeah, she's very driven and very talented at what she does, and her creativity level is out of this fucking world. Believe me. But yeah, I mean, so anybody who's actually watching this who has any kind of mental disadvantage, I wouldn't even call it that. Honestly, I think that if you have mental disability and you're able to overcome that and you're able to live and you're happy,
it shouldn't be called disabled.
It's actually, I would think that would be an advantage. Because honestly, I would not be who I am if it weren't for the problems that I've gone through in my life. You, I don't think, would be who you are without any of the problems. Who knows what we would be like? It'd probably be worse. We'd probably be two dumbasses completely.
Yeah, you know. But back to the topic of human euthanization, in conclusion, I personally believe that human euthanization should be something that is done, and it should be very controlled and very restricted, but it should be allowed, and it should be something that is done in hospitals and in other places. For example, hospices with people who
are going to die no matter what.
Yeah.
It's when you go into hospice, you basically are just saying, well, you are still living now, but you don't have much time, and there is no chance of you coming back.
And with the comment, once one reaches the end of their usefulness, it's okay for them to be discarded. Yes, in some cases, yes, in life it should be a practice, but the statement itself is so vague that you can take it in many different ways. The way that me and my fellow friend took the statement, we believe that it is true, but it is flawed.
Thank you guys for watching so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you thought this was good and you like her pretty face, you like my ugly face. If you thought it was good, hey, if you thought it was good, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and share this with all your friends, and also leave a comment in the comments section below and tell us what you thought or what your opinion on this video is.
And with your opinions, we could do further videos that expand on those.
Yes, if you have any questions you want us to argue / debate / give our opinions on, please again feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Bye guys!